Hey, ambitious souls, time to grow rich. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get rich while others work hard their whole lives and struggle financially? What if the lessons you've been taught about money are actually holding you back? Welcome to this audiobook of Robert Kiyosaki's a financial classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Here, you'll discover the mindset differences between two fathers, one who followed the traditional path and one who mastered the art of making money work for him. Whether you want to take control of your finances, build wealth, or rethink how you view money, this audiobook will guide you step by step, turning complex concepts into practical, actionable insights. Let's begin chapter-wise.
Chapter 1. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I grew up with two fathers. One was my biological dad, the man who taught me to study hard, get good grades, and find a secure job. The other was the father of my best friend Mike, a man who never graduated from college, but became one of the richest people in Hawaii. From the time I was 9 years old, these two men gave me very different advice, and their words shaped how I see money, work, and success. My poor dad would say, "Go to school, get your degree, and then you'll find a safe job with good benefits." He believed that security was the most important thing, and so he worked for the government his whole life, hoping for promotions and salary increases. My rich dad said, "The moment you learn to make money work for you, you no longer have to be controlled by your job." He believed in opportunity, ownership, and financial knowledge. For him, learning never stopped. As a young boy, I didn't understand which father was right. One said, "The love of money is the root of all evil," while the other said, "The lack of money is the root of all evil." One said, "I can't afford it." The other said, "How can I afford it?" At first, both ideas sounded logical, but after watching their lives unfold, I saw that their beliefs created two totally different realities. My poor dad struggled with bills, complained about taxes, and spent everything he earned. His house was his biggest liability, even though he believed it was an asset. My rich dad invested in real estate, businesses, and education. When he earned money, he reinvested it. He would say, "Let your money work harder than you do." Eventually, I made a choice. I decided to listen to my rich dad, and that decision changed my entire life. Chapter 2. The rich don't work for money. When I was 9, Mike and I asked Rich Dad how to become rich. He looked at us, and instead of giving us a lecture, he gave us a job. We worked every Saturday for 10 cents an hour. Use your mind. Think of what you can do with those books. Mike and I created our own mini library. Children paid us 10 cents to read all afternoon, and without working, we made more money than before. That day, we learned a lesson that most adults never learn. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. They don't get scared when there is no paycheck. Instead, they become creative. They search for opportunities. They buy assets, and they allow those assets to generate income. Poor dad believed in job security. Rich dad believed in financial freedom. Poor dad said, "Study hard so you can work for a good company." Rich dad said, "Study hard so you can own a company." Those words echoed in my mind for years. Every decision I made from that moment on was guided by that lesson. Chapter 3. Why teach financial literacy? In school, I was taught to read and write, to add and subtract, but I was never taught how money works. Financial education is not about learning how to balance a checkbook or file a tax return. It is about understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Rich Dad said, "An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket." He repeated it again and again until it became a part of me. He explained that many people think their house is their biggest asset, but every month they pay the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and repairs. That means money is leaving their pocket. So their house is a liability. The rich buy assets first. They use the income from those assets to buy luxuries. But the poor and middle class buy liabilities first. Then they struggle to pay for those liabilities every month. They get a pay raise, and instead of investing, they buy a bigger house or a new car. So even though their income goes up, they never become rich. Rich Dad encouraged us to start small. You don't need a lot of money to buy your first asset. It might be a few stocks or a small rental property. The important thing is to develop the habit of buying assets. Once you understand this simple rule, you start to see money differently. One of the most powerful things he taught me was this: it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep, and how hard that money works for you. Financial literacy means learning to control cash flow, understand the numbers, and make decisions that build long-term wealth. Chapter 4. Mind your own business. Most people spend their lives minding someone else's business. They work for a company, they pay taxes, they repay loans, and they spend the rest on bills. Rich Dad said, "You must mind your own business. Your business is what builds your wealth." He didn't mean that everyone should quit their job immediately. He meant that you should begin building your asset column while still working at your job. Your job pays the bills. Your business builds your freedom. He advised me to keep my expenses low, reduce liabilities, and invest in assets. The more assets I bought, the more income one had. And soon, my assets were paying for my lifestyle. At that point, I no longer had to depend on a salary. Rich Dad said, "Most people buy luxuries first. A car, a vacation, a new phone. Rich people buy luxuries last, only after their assets produce enough income to pay for them." He reminded us that wealthy people use discipline. They delay gratification, and they focus on long-term rewards. For years, I kept learning. I built small businesses. I invested in real estate. I bought stocks, and I always reinvested what I earned. Each time I reinvested, my asset column grew, and I became more financially secure. Mind your own business. Treat your financial life like a company. Create a personal income statement. Study your balance sheet. Ask yourself, what assets am I buying this month? Even if the numbers are small, what matters is the mindset. Once you start thinking like a rich person, you begin acting like a rich person, and eventually, you become one. Chapter 5. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. Most people believe taxes were created to take money from the rich and help the poor. But history shows the opposite happened. In the beginning, there were no taxes on personal income. Governments taxed only the rich, and the rich quickly learned how to protect themselves. Rich Dad explained that the rich use a powerful tool, the corporation, to reduce taxes and protect assets. A corporation is not a building or a factory. It's a legal entity that gives you advantages an individual does not have. An employee earns income, pays taxes first, and then lives on what is left. A corporation earns income, spends money on expenses, and only pays taxes on what's left. That means a corporation is taxed on a smaller amount. The rich use this system to protect their assets and grow their wealth. They invest through corporations. They buy real estate through corporations, and they create a shield. Meanwhile, the poor and middle class believe in working hard, paying taxes, and hoping for a retirement fund. They don't see that their money is constantly flowing out to the government, to banks, and to big companies. Rich Dad said, "If you want to be rich, you must understand taxes and legal structures. The rules are the same for everyone, but only the educated know how to use them. That is why the rich spend time and money learning about laws and strategies. Financial education is not just about making money. It's about keeping it and protecting it." He encouraged me to learn about the difference between a corporation, a partnership, and a trust. He told me to talk to accountants and attorneys. He said, "They will help you see how money really works in the world." And so I started learning early. That knowledge gave me confidence and control. Chapter 6. The Rich Invent Money. Many people say, "You need money to make money." Rich Dad said, "That is not true. What you really need is financial intelligence." Opportunities are everywhere. The problem is that most people don't see them. They are so focused on safety, job security, and savings that they miss the chance to create wealth. Rich Dad told us that inside every problem lies an opportunity. When the economy goes down, most people panic and stop spending. They hide their money and hope things get better. But the rich see a falling market as a chance to buy. They invest when others are afraid. They build assets when prices are low. And they prepare for the next rise. Instead of waiting for someone to give them a job, the rich create opportunities. They invent ways to make money. They buy or build assets. That is why Rich Dad called money an idea. If you want more money, you need better ideas. One time, I found a small house in a poor neighborhood. Everyone told me it was a bad investment, but I saw an opportunity. I bought it, fixed it, and rented it out. Later, I sold it for a profit. That one idea opened my eyes. I could invent my own future. Most people are afraid of losing money. That fear keeps them from trying. Rich Dad said, "Failure inspires winners. Failure defeats losers. Every time I failed, I learned something new, and I used that knowledge to create better opportunities." If you want to be rich, start training your mind. Read, take classes, talk to experts, and observe the world. Opportunity does not scream. It whispers. Only the financially educated can hear it. Chapter 7. Work to learn. Don't work for money. When I graduated from college, poor dad wanted me to get a high-paying job. Rich dad wanted me to take a job where I could learn new skills. He said, "Don't specialize too soon. Learn to sell, communicate, and lead. Those are the skills that make people rich." Most people work only for money. They look for a salary, promotion, or a secure position. But Rich Dad said, "A paycheck is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. A job can feed you today, but a skill can feed you for a lifetime." So I joined the Marine Corps to learn discipline and leadership. Then I worked at Xerox to learn how to sell. I didn't stay long, but what I learned in those years helped me build my own businesses later. Rich Dad always said, "The more specialized you become, the harder it is to become free." He wasn't against specialization. He was against dependence. Specialists often depend on a job. Generalists can adapt, create, and lead. If you want to be rich, ask yourself, what skills do I need to learn today so I can create opportunities tomorrow? Read books, attend seminars, take risks, and never stop learning. Don't work just for money. Work to learn. Then let what you learn build the life you want. Chapter 8. Overcoming obstacles. Even when people know what to do, many never take action. Rich Dad said there are 5 obstacles that keep most people from becoming rich: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Fear of losing money stops people from investing. They say, "What if I lose everything?" Rich Dad said, "Everyone loses at some point. Losers let failure defeat them. Winners let failure inspire them." Every investor has lost money, but truly rich people learn and keep going. Cynicism comes from listening to others. Friends, family, and the news say, "It's too risky. The market might crash. Real estate is dangerous." And so people doubt themselves. Rich Dad said, "If you want to be rich, believe in your own vision more than in other people's opinions." Laziness hides behind busyness. Many people say, "I'm too busy to look for investments." But they're not really busy. They're avoiding the effort. Rich Dad said, "Busy people are often the laziest. They don't take the time to invest in their future." Bad habits keep people poor. One common habit is paying everyone else first: the landlord, the bank, the government, and paying yourself last. Rich Dad said, "If you want to be rich, pay yourself first. Make investing a priority." Arrogance is thinking you already know everything. Rich Dad said, "Every time you're arrogant, you lose. If you think you know it all, you'll stop learning. And when you stop learning, you stop growing." To overcome these obstacles, you need courage, discipline, and humility. Courage to try, discipline to keep going, and humility to keep learning. When you fight these 5 enemies, you become stronger. And when you become stronger, you become ready for success. Chapter 9. Here are some to-dos. By now, you've learned the basic principles. You understand assets versus liabilities, the importance of financial education, and the value of creating money through ideas. But knowing isn't enough. You must act. Rich Dad gave me a list of practical actions to start building wealth immediately. First, start small. Don't wait for a fortune to appear. Buy one stock, one small rental property, or one small business. The key is action, not size. Second, pay yourself first. Every time you earn money, set aside a portion to invest in assets. Don't spend it on liabilities like luxury items. Invest in things that produce more money. Third, use your skills to create opportunities. If you're good at selling, negotiate deals. If you're good at writing, create content that earns. Your skills can generate cash flow if applied creatively. Fourth, find mentors and learn from them. Rich Dad always emphasized learning from people who have achieved what you want. Don't reinvent the wheel. Follow the footsteps of success. Fifth, control your emotions. Fear and greed are the biggest enemies of wealth. Learn to act logically. Invest when others panic. Stay patient when others are impatient. Sixth, start a small business or side hustle. Even if you have a full-time job, use your spare time to create income streams. The more income streams you have, the more secure your financial life becomes. Seventh, keep learning and reading. Financial education is ongoing. The market changes, laws change, technology changes, and opportunities evolve. Stay ahead by feeding your mind continuously. Eighth, take risks wisely. Don't gamble recklessly. Invest in assets you understand, but don't let fear stop you from trying new ideas. By following these steps, you start moving from a life of fear and dependence to a life of freedom and opportunity. Action creates confidence. Confidence creates momentum, and momentum builds wealth. Chapter 10. 10 Steps to Start Your Plan Today. To help people move from knowledge to action, Rich Dad outlined 10 steps to financial freedom. Step 1. Find a reason greater than reality. Your reason to become rich must be compelling. It must push you forward even when the world says no. Without a strong reason, most people give up at the first obstacle. Step 2. Choose daily. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built by making smart choices every day, from what you spend money on, to what you learn, to how you invest. Choose wisely every single day. Step 3. Choose friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who inspire, motivate, and challenge you. Avoid negative influences that drain energy and confidence. Your network is your net worth. Step 4. Master a formula and learn to leverage it. Find a skill, system, or strategy that works. Master it, and then leverage it to create more value. Leverage can be money, time, or talent. Use it wisely. Step 5. Pay yourself first. Set aside a portion of every paycheck to invest in assets. Even if it's small, consistency is powerful. This habit builds wealth over time. Step 6. Pay your brokers well. Hire experts to help you make money. Accountants, financial advisors, and attorneys are worth their fees. Don't be afraid to invest in knowledge and guidance. Step 7. Be an Indian giver. When you borrow money to invest, aim to pay it back quickly. Use borrowed money responsibly. Don't let debt control your life. Step 8. Use assets to buy luxuries. Rich people buy luxuries last. First, grow your assets. Then enjoy the rewards. Don't reverse the order. Step 9. Choose heroes carefully. Follow people who have achieved what you want. Study their decisions. Avoid idolizing celebrities who only show glamour without financial wisdom. Step 10. Teach and share. Rich Dad always said, the best way to learn is to teach. Sharing your knowledge reinforces it. It creates opportunities, and it empowers others while building your own confidence. By following these 10 steps, you begin a journey from financial dependence to financial freedom. Small steps, repeated consistently, lead to extraordinary results. The rich don't wait for luck, they create it.
Thank you for listening to this audiobook on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We hope you found these insights valuable and inspiring. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to Audiobooks Guides for more audiobook guides. Comment below which book you want to hear next. We love bringing your favorites to life. Take care, bye-bye, and catch you in the next amazing audiobook at Audiobooks Guides.